sometimes it grows out a little bit. Hair, I'm talking about. Sometimes it grows on your body, on your face, armpits, more importantly, below the waist. That's where it likes to grow at times. Well, Manscaped, who happens to be the sponsors for today's show, are the leaders in below the waistline grooming. They keep your short and curlies short and not as curly. They keep you feeling nice and fresh. They keep you ready for any occasion, But more importantly, you might be asking yourself, well, how? How does that happen? Well, they got this instrument called the Lawnmower 4.0. Not 3.0. We had that. That was dope. But we had to upgrade. And at times you got to upgrade. We all know this. But the Lawnmower 4.0 with the light that turns on and off is waterproof. And it is smooth, baby. Smooth. And it keeps you short. It keeps your dangly twins feeling nice and smooth as well. But more importantly, man, with Manscaped, we know they have promo codes, and that code is MOATS. If you use that, you'll get 20% off of your purchase along with free shipping worldwide at manscaped.com. So don't waste time. Don't leave your dangly twins feeling too furry. Make sure you cut that coat back a little bit, all right? And everybody will appreciate them, and you will as well. So with that being said, shout out to Manscaped.
Let's go, UW.
Yep, you good.
Time to start a GoFundMe to fire Canada and bring back Todd Haley.
Oh, no.
Even the wide
Haley
receivers
back?
and Mitch have been quoted about not liking the play calling, even arguing about the calls in the huddle. Mans needs to go, but Tomlin won't do it.
Yeah, I was actually really happy to see some of that come out. Now, obviously, you don't want your team to be having dysfunction like that internally, but at the same time, I was glad that they actually did stand up and talk and speak on that, because otherwise everybody runs with the narrative that it is exclusively on Mitch Trubisky, that Mitch is the one not trying to stretch the field, that Mitch is the one that doesn't want to call these calls or doesn't want to check these plays and things like that. Does Mitch have some faults? Absolutely. And we'll get to that. But I'm glad that the teammates said something publicly, because otherwise people just run with that narrative and put it all on Mitch, like a lot of people are doing. I see your hat. It's all good.
Oh no! This is the combination of everything. Because yes, Canada as well, but that goes to my point of the sabotage last year. We brought in this guy for what?
All I'm saying is,
are we kidding me?
All I'm saying is, I'm glad that those people did speak up on it, because at times, man, Canada did have some good flows. The scoring drive for Pat Frymouth, man, you look at that drive, the calls that he was making, I thought that was one of his best calls. I thought that was obviously the best the offense looked in the game. Problem was, we didn't get it enough. And that's, what happens to a lot of teams the first 2-3 weeks of the season. Hence the reason why before the season, what do we say when we're talking about quarterbacks? We're like, yo, I don't mind a switch, but you need to give these dudes time to figure it out, time to gel, time to see who they are. If you crown them out the 1 week, you can't say that the worst team after that, the next week, and then you switch it again if they win the 3rd week, and then we'll switch it again on the 4th week. But that's what people want to do because of the feelings, because of the excitement, because of the emotion that's involved with it. But that's why we're always like, pump your brakes, because it's going to be like that for these first couple of weeks until they can figure out their identity, before they can get up to speed. You talk about the running game. Some of it was on the O-line. Some of it was on Najee Harris. Are we going to say what? Najee's
former Steeler offensive linemen were posting some of the videos where it's like, dude, you just got to run up the middle.
All I'm saying is, are we going to say that Najee Harris is the reason why we can't run the ball and we should get rid of him and we're going to put Jalen Warren in? No. We're going to say, hey, man, he'll figure it out. Give him a little bit more time. That's all I'm saying. So after 2 games, we don't have to go full on blow up the whole empire. It's like, nah. This is a part of it. 4 weeks, though, is more ideal to me in my perspective, just because you're going to get some of the wackiness that typically happens in week 1 and week 2. 5 turnovers and we went in overtime, right? That's the wackiness that you talk about, right? Talk about how this week, man, we played clean for the most part, but when it was time to make some of the plays that we needed to play, or make some of the plays that we needed to make, that's what cost us. I mean, Gunner fumbling a punt. Like, who?
We gave them a free 14 points.
But
Kello getting mossed and Gunner fumbling the punt. Are you kidding me?
But when you're talking about early in the year, that type of wackiness can happen. That's legit. I don't expect that to be happening in week 6 or week 10 or week 15, but early on, the first 4 weeks, you're going to have this type of stuff. We always say missed tackles, mental errors and missed tackles, especially early in the season, because of what? You're still trying to get up to speed communication-wise. You haven't all been playing 4 quarters together collectively. Think about it. This unit still hasn't had 2 games together, all 11 starters out there. Last week you had TJ. This week you don't have TJ, you know? So even still, you're trying to figure this thing out. Yo, who's with us? All right, how do you play this week? Or excuse me, last week we were a lot of base personnel, right? Defensively, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith. This week we're running big nickel. You got Cam Hayward lined up at a DN. You got DeMarvin Leal playing out there as a DN. And at times it worked, but also it hurt us in the run game because they weren't as gap sound. But when you're taking a 3 technique or a 5 technique and telling him to play true DN, snap in and snap out, some of that's going to happen. So when we think about how they were able to run the ball on us the way they did, part of that is that, you know? So that's why I'm like, man, early on, this is, like I said, we don't want to normalize it, but as players, it is normal. You kind of expect to have wackiness in the first couple weeks because you just don't know. You're trying to figure out what this version is going to look like. What is the 2022 version of the Steelers? And just because we might have done something last year, just because we had success or struggled in certain areas last year, you don't know if that's going to necessarily be the case again this season. But that's why the first couple weeks you're trying to figure that part out. And that's why all I'm saying is, man, we good, baby. We good. Because foundationally, in all 3 phases, we have stuff. Absolutely. You talk about Deontay Johnson, man, that dude was showing off.